say, we're going to give you more subsidies? Is it pandering when politicians go to rich people and say, we're going to cut your taxes? Is it pandering when politicians go to small businesses and say, we're going to give you small tax credits? Or is it pandering when politicians go in front of a Hispanic audience and talk about immigration?
Well, politicians, they pander all the time. Yeah, they
But here's my thing. I'm confused. People asked for a black agenda, and only one of the two candidates gave out their black agenda. It may not have everything. That's what makes the world great. You don't have to agree with everything to choose a person to vote for. But there was something put out. And on the reverse side of this, a candidate called out calling for stop and frisk, broken window policing, bringing back federal immunity for police. I just don't get it. I don't get how the choice is so hard.
Okay, well, wait a minute, Park. Let's not forget now. The same candidate you talking about put forth this actual policy for black people was the same one, and we always talk about it. It was the same one said that she wasn't going to do anything specific for black people. Now all of a sudden, Barack Obama comes up, he stumps his toe. He gets criticized, and all of a sudden now she wants to do something solely for black people. When before she's like, you think I'm going to do something only for black people? No. So all of a sudden now she's like that old game show, the dating show. She's had a change of heart. Now she's having a change of heart because her numbers with certain black men, not all, but certain black men are starting, kind of hurting her. And she sees now that, hey, I got to go ahead and the election is 3 weeks away. I got to go ahead and try to get some of these black men back on my side, because even a fraction of black men leaving, this is going to be a razor close election. A lot of people feel, but if you get a certain amount of black men leave in particular, then her ship is sunk. So, she had all this time. She had years and years and years if you want to pander to black people to do that. But she specifically said that she couldn't do anything solely for black people. And let's also forget, let's also, when she's talking about this agenda for black men, providing small business loans forgivable up to $20,000 for black entrepreneurs and others to start a business. Now, exactly who are others to start a business? Because there's either black men. If you talk about you're going to do something for black men, and you're going to do something for black men, and there's no need to add others to that.
So, yeah, the others is the problem there, Park. When she added that language, others, in there, nope, that's not for black men. That's saying black men along with other groups is what that's telling me, and that's not going to fly.
So I agree, right? And it's important to also remember that.
Hey, Park, you are low, and we got people on YouTube. We got to get you loud. If you're on the headset, you got to take it off because you're really, really low.
Can you hear me any better now?
I hear you a little better, but it's low. It's hard for our people on YouTube to hear you, but go ahead. We need to try to get you loud. If you got a headset, take it off so everybody can hear you.
Sure. Okay, so I hope you can hear me better now. So what I was saying was that I lost my train of thought. Okay, so we have to remember that under the Supreme Court Justice's ruling that was voted on in favor by the former president, Donald Trump, it is illegal to make things race-based, to make laws that are race-based. So even if she did put out a plan that was specifically only for one race, it would be deemed illegal under the Supreme Court. That's a fact.
Okay.
So any type of black program that anybody wants to see that is race-based, I'm not saying lineage-based, but any type of specific race-based law or policy would be deemed illegal under the president that her opposers are supporting. I don't get it.
Yeah, I get it, because I'm going to tell you something. That's a lie, because they're putting out stuff every day to help these immigrants. They're doing things for the Asians. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That is simply not good.
There is no law that is specifically, if there is, please show me the verbiage. I read the COVID Crime Act, the COVID.
Everybody knows the COVID.
Hey, the COVID thing was all about Asians. Come on, man, stop. There's no mention of any other group in there except Asians. The whole COVID thing is about Asian people. I know it. You know it. This entire space knows it as well too. Now, come on. Now you can't. Now it's funny. Now you can't knock that one. You can't say anything about that. This whole thing is about the whole thing, and not only that, they have things set aside for Asians, Latinos, and Native Americans. Come on, let's stop it.
Show me
I just had a space. I just had a space when they were talking about that Asian Americans and Alaskan Americans were going to get 80 some odd $1 million in grants now. Come on now.
But the bill is not even called that. It's called the COVID.
I don't care what it's called. It mentions Asians, and that's all it's talking about in there. It can talk about hate crime, this and that, but it's talking about Asians.
You click Control F on your computer on that specific bill and type in the word Asian. It does not give any law that specifically does anything for law for Asians. I read it myself. I don't know what y'all are reading.
Can I jump in, please?
Yeah. Let me let Rella go ahead and speak, please.
Hey, Newstoter, Professor, and of course, Park, you're back at it again. So, I pulled up the bill, and one thing that an HR resolution, it's called the House Resolution. It's a bill that goes through the House, has to go through the Senate in order for it to become law. And then it becomes a Senate resolution bill. So S937 passed under the 117th Congress Public Law. It's not going to say Asian because it specifies the nations that it's specifically talking about, and the nations that it's talking about, let me read them to you, and you tell me if these are Black people, Black Americans. Here we go. It says here, during this time frame, race has been cited as primary reason for discrimination, making up over 90% of incidents, and the United States condemns and denounces any and all anti-Asian, there's the word Asian, and Pacific Islander sentiment in any form. Roughly 36% of these incidents took place at a business, or more than 2 million Asian again. Businesses have contributed to the diverse fabric of American life. More than 1,900,000 Asian American, there's that word again, it's the race word, older adults, particularly these older adults who are recent immigrants. Why is the word immigrants in there? Or have limited English proficiency may face even greater challenges dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, including discrimination, economic insecurity, and language isolation. In the midst of this alarming surge in anti-Asian hate, that is so specific, isn't it? Anti-Asian hate crimes, an incident, a shooter murdered the following 8 people in Atlanta, Georgia region, 7 of whom were women and 6 of whom were women of Asian descent. But the shooter also was Asian. Oh, let's keep going. Jean Tan W. Oh, they even named the shooter. Bing, Delaney, Ashley Young, Gonzalez, Paul Andre, and Soon Chung Park, Hung Jung Grant, Sun Chi Kim, Young A Yi, and these are all Asian people. Asian people. Now, I remember distinctly, and I will post this down below so people can also read this, and you can go back and follow the trail of breadcrumbs, as I've done always in your space Newstoter. It's funny when people actually get on here and they really want to have an argument, and they want to have an argument against why representation in language and documentation federally on a federal level in a federal document is so important for Black Americans, descended by which who are literally saying you have people in both the House and Senate, along with a Democratic presidency, who has not been duly doing their duty for everyone, as Kamala posted in her Griot interview, that anything passed for other groups will benefit Black Americans by, as she put it, just by adjacency. But we're not adjacent to any of these other groups. If majority of them, as you know, dictated in that document, are immigrants. And so if we're having this conversation and we're talking about language and we're talking about documentation and legalities that are implied by the state, federal government, all the same, Black Americans do not get the detailed written legislation that is supporting and protecting us, and it has not helped that other groups are able to get these things, you'll see a man order after a hurricane lost it.
Rella, you
Many of them.
you breaking up, Rella. You breaking up too. But let me say this real quick part. Now, this same woman here said that she wasn't gonna do nothing specifically for black people. Now she's gonna do something 3 weeks before the election. Now she's talking about doing something for black men.
Yeah, that's the part that's appalling, because it's like they're trying to pull. She's pulling in her team. I guess they don't pay attention, because remember, Biden and Kamala, when they first came on the scene, when he chose her, remember they put out the plan, and I posted that below Newstoter, that they would actually have programs and do some economic foundation building for black American men under Biden when he was running for office. And it's like the same playbook. Like, they really want black people, whether you're a man or a woman, to sit here and play into these politics, while they know daggone well no one is listening on the state level to Kamala. And they have Republicans for Kamala who also serve in the House, in the Senate, and they have not passed not a bill for black men, protections for their autonomy in their bodies.
Real quick, Rella. Real quick, hold on, Rella. Let me go ahead, because I want to hear what he's got to say now. Go ahead. What were you saying now, Parks? And the Emmett Till bill, let's not do that and act like this specifically for black people. Wait, before we go, wait. I'm gonna let you go, but before you go, wait. No, hold on. Wait a minute. Before you go, I'm just gonna correct you. There's not a law or bill out there specifically for black people. I don't give a damn if it's called the Malcolm X bill. But go ahead.
Okay, because again, I'm gonna start from the beginning. Okay, I'm glad this is recorded, because everything I'm saying is recorded and we can refer back to. As I said, in the bill, we read the laws that were enacted, right? Not the words, right? Obviously, they use the words, they use certain phrases, they use certain they said language, whatever, non-English speaking, whatever, right? They said all that in the bill, right? Those are not the laws, but they referenced it, right? But if you read the bill, and you look at the areas where they talk about the laws that are being enforced, the policies that they're putting forward, and specifically the things that are now going to be enforced by the executive branch, or executive people, police, the judges, or not the judges, but the police and whatever else, right? That nowhere in the writing of the specific laws does it say that this applies singularly, or that this applies to Asian people, just like how the Emmett Till bill also does not say specifically this is for black people. The law mentions black. The law, in all the writing. Obviously, we all know why they made the COVID crime bill. Obviously, we all know why they made the Emmett Till. We all know the racial background behind the law. But when you read the law, when it mentions the things that they're going to be enacting, it does not mention that this is specifically for black people or Asian people. And if that's not enough, my question to people is that, okay, you're upset with that.
Well, then tell her to make it for the descendants of American chattel slavery. Then
I agree.
Okay, do that then. The same way they got creative, and the same way in that bill you're talking about, they got creative, and it quote unquote is not the Asian COVID bill. Tell them to do that for the descendants of American chattel slavery, and everybody know who we're talking about.
So I just get confused, because we all know how this country works. We all know that right now, if Kamala Harris were to get in front of the American people and say that I am for reparations, that is lineage based, she would lose the election in a landslide.
Well, that's her problem. That's her fault. That's her problem. Okay, that's her problem. Because on the same thing we're talking about, then why sit up here? Why sit up here and say you have an agenda for black men? Then why? Well, hold on. Wait. You talking about her losing the election? Then why come up here and say you have your agenda, opportunity agenda for black men? So why say that? Because won't you lose the election then?
Everybody knows that with reparations comes $1 trillion bill, which is whether it's fair, whether you believe that's fair or not. Everybody knows that reparations is going to be an expensive program, right? That's fine. I'm all for it. However, if you stand in front of a country that is 70% white, that is 13% black, and 20% or whatever of these other things, you are going to lose in a record landslide if you come out in front of the American people and say this. And that's even backed up by the fact that some of your candidates, and it's called candidate Donald Trump, put out a banner and advertisement that Kamala Harris is for reparations. And he did that on purpose because he knows that anybody who is tied to reparations would lose in a general election on the federal level for the United States of America. Everybody knows it. There's no question about it. If she came out and said she's for reparations, she will lose in a landslide.
Well, but you're contradicting yourself, and this is what I'm saying. You're saying that if you come out and do something for black people, such as reparations, you're done. You're gonna lose. My thing is right here. Okay, I get what you're saying. My thing is then why come out and say that you have your quote unquote opportunity agenda for black men. You're doing so. You're saying that you're gonna do something specifically for black men, and you're not afraid of losing the election this close to election time. So it makes no sense. In one way, you're saying, okay, well, if we do something, hold on, wait a minute. You're saying if we do something for black people, if she comes out and say, well, I'm going to champion anything for black people, I'm going to champion reparations, she's done. She'll be beaten in record fashion. Well, guess what? We saw when they were talking about the black farmers were supposed to get something. Everybody else got included into it as well, too. So my thing is, why sit up here now and sit up here and say, you know what? I'm going to do something for black men. It's 3 weeks away from the election. The whole other time before, you weren't doing anything. You weren't talking about any kind of financial this or that or whatever for black people, not black men in particular. Because let's be for real, the Democratic Party has definitely made their feelings clear when it comes to black men. They'll sit up here and they'll pander to black women all day. But when it comes to black men, they'll sit up here and talk about how the black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party, how the black women are doing this, it's the black women doing that. Damn, you forget that it's even the black man on planet Earth. You forget that it's the black men that actually push the black women into the Democratic Party. You forget all about that.
Okay, so again.
Okay, we'll make sure you got on your tap shoes first, but go ahead.
So again, when you come out and propose a plan, there is a tax bill, there's a dollar bill that comes with it. It's like this. It's like this. Ready? When Joe Biden came out, he was saying, "Oh, I want to expand Medicare, or I want to expand the Obamacare." Right? That sounds okay. But when you use the words, I want to have universal health care, that now comes with a higher tax bill. When voters go to the poll, to the voting booth, they ask themselves, which candidate is going to raise my taxes or which candidate is going to add more to the federal deficit, okay? Right now, there's a big conversation between whose plan adds more to the federal deficit. Again, everybody knows that when you say the word reparations, that means 100 trillion or 10 trillion, or the dollar amount is in the trillion. It would be so large that people are uncomfortable with it and they will vote against it, the same way that people are also uncomfortable with the fact that universal health care is also expensive. The average American person, the American electorate, is not going to vote for a person who is going to propose a plan that will raise their taxes or that will come at a cost in the trillions of dollars, especially when
that's a lie because they did it for dollars.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on, Rella.
It costs trillions of dollars, and you know that's not true.
Oh, let me pull those numbers. Oh, go ahead.
Matter of fact, Park, get ready to land it because I'm gonna go ahead and read this article. Matter of fact, let me read this article from Atlanta Black Star. I'll put it up in the jump.
Talk to y'all later. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Park. Once again, Park, he does his best toe tapping for the Democratic Party, you know. But anyways, this article real quick is from the Atlanta Black Star. This is about Kamala Harris and her agenda and all this other crap. Kamala Harris' new opportunity agenda for African-American men reeks of desperation, says critics who are still upset with Obama for chastising black male voters. So yeah, the night space is about Obama and his little speech. And then it's also about Kamala as well, too. On Monday, Vice President Kamala Harris rolled out her opportunity agenda for black men that promises to provide them with tools to achieve financial freedom and protect their rights and improve their health. Reactions to her proposal were as divided as the black electorate, who alternately viewed it as desperate campaign tactic to win over black male voters or sound policy ideas that are responsive to their needs, with polls showing virtually a tie between Trump and the presidential race and softening support among black men. Harris has been on a breakneck blitz of black media and gathering spots over the past 2 weeks, including Black Men Huddle Up events in Charlotte, Detroit, Atlanta, and Philadelphia, and her upcoming interview with popular Breakfast Club podcast co-host Charlamagne the God on Tuesday in Detroit, noted Politico. Her 9-page agenda for Black men includes providing $1 million small business loans for forgivable loans up to $20,000 to Black entrepreneurs and others to start business, training and mentorship programs that help Black men get good paying jobs in high demand industries and lead their communities, including becoming teachers, focusing on health issues that disproportionately impact Black men, such as sickle cell disease, diabetes, mental health, and prostate cancer, legalizing recreational marijuana, and creating business opportunities for Black Americans in this new industry, even though the industry is completely controlled by white people. Let's be for real. You'll never get they got so far ahead in this that you'll never, ever break even get on an even playing field with them in terms of the marijuana industry, because they already done took it. Supporting cryptocurrency regulations that protect Black men who invest in and own these assets. While the race for the White House is tight, according to a new CBS news poll and analysis, likely Black voters still plan to vote heavily Democratic as in past years and currently support Harris at the same rate, 87%, as they did Biden in 2020. However, the likelihood of turnout of Black voters lags that of white voters, suggesting perhaps there is more for Harris' campaign to do in activating these voters, CBS noted. Some erosion in the Black electorate has come from Black men, while 83% of Black women in a recent New York Times poll favor Harris over Trump. Only 70% of Black men do. And a recent NAACP found that 1 in 4 Black men under 50 support Trump over Harris. Many people expressed concern that Harris' latest proposal could turn off some Black voters who find it desperate and off-putting, in the same way that former President Obama's lecturing Black men who are thinking about sitting out the election or voting Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania last week produced a backlash among some Black men. Barack Obama sounds alarm, says energy is down with Black men. That seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. He then says Black men should vote Kamala Harris because she knows the struggles of being Black. Pure identity politics from Obama. I don't know. The substance might be okay, but I'm thinking about the optics of this for the campaign purposes. The timing may make it come off as desperation, damage control, or just more pandering. Posted at Sublime Thoughts 5 on X. I hope nobody falls for this last-ditch effort. Posted at Rhonda AC310 on Instagram after they bought out Obama to chastise Black men. They figured they'd try a different approach, like earning a vote. It's giving lip service, though. Sorry, Obama, said Rob Smith, a Black Trump supporter, in a video reel posted on Facebook of several Black men turned off by Obama's speech in Pittsburgh, where the former president told voters, "You're thinking about sitting out or supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength. But that's what being a man is, putting a woman down. That is not acceptable. No amount of lecturing or bullying or shaming that you can do is going to make me change that decision," said Smith. "I'm not afraid to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman. I refuse to vote for Kamala Harris because she has spent the last 4 years destroying the country." Black Voters Matter co-founder Cliff Albright noted in a thread on X that some doubters, including some with other motives, will shot out too late. They will ignore, one, many of these policies are extensions of things Harris has already done or worked on, and 2, this agenda is a product of months of discussions with Black men. While honest people can disagree whether it's enough, we should be skeptical of anyone dismissing her plan while simultaneously having no critique of the lifelong racist offering no policy for us, whose policies directly harm us, sometimes kill Black men, he said. Okay. Some people question the legality of Harris' proposal, noting that recent decisions in civil rights cases have barred preferential treatment for Black minority applicants to economic incentive programs, while others point out that her small business loans would benefit everyone. Too bad it's illegal. The CRA protects everyone, and that means she can't discriminate by race or gender. I got to hand it to her, posted at FLA's favorite teacher, conservative. She's trying everything to get their vote at the 9th hour. Too bad most of this has to be approved by Congress, which she knows. Challenge with this is that people can see through it. She is struggling to get Black male support, so she's thrown out these as bait to fix the issue. Also, Kamala's on record saying that she would not do anything specifically for Black people as those things. So yeah, there's a little bit more to read, but that's pretty much sums up what everybody pretty much already knows. What I was telling Park as well too, which he knows, like now all of a sudden, 3 weeks before election time, This woman clearly said before that she wasn't going to do anything specifically to benefit black people. And like I say, the most forgotten person in the actual Democratic Party is black men. You'd rarely ever hear, you'd never hear Democrats big up in black men the way they big up black women. They will go ahead and they will give black women all the credit in the world and this and that. Black men, you don't even know that black men exist. It's like you're an endangered species when it comes to the Democrats, unless you got one of these black celebrities on TV like Steve Harvey talking about Obama's a black man and a black man could criticize another black man. And you just sit there and take it and all this other kind of stuff. And Al Sharpton and all the rest of them sitting up here now trying to play on black men conscious. And I said this months ago. When she loses an election, guess who's going to get blamed? I said this months ago in one of these spaces. Many a times I say, when she loses this election, guess who's going to get the brunt of it? Guess who's going to get the blame of it? Well, they're already shaping that up. When she loses in 3 weeks, it's going to be, well, black men didn't come out and do this. Black men didn't do that. If black men just would have stayed the course. Black men, now what you going to do with Trump? I bet y'all won't go up there and ask Trump to do nothing. Why y'all don't have the same kind of energy for Trump that you, well, I don't know. Maybe because for 60 some odd years, they've been voting Democrat in this country at a 90% clip. Maybe that's why they have a little bit more heat for actual for Democrats than they do for Republicans, since they have been the backbone and the heart and soul of the Democratic Party. And what have they gotten in return for it? Nothing. We got a bunch of hands up. Shout out, I see my boy DJ up in here. Shout out, Ray. I see you up in here as well, too. Professor, my other co-host. Shout out to everybody. And let me give a shout out to original Arthur, Val, I Am, Goddess, No Taxation, Alyssa. What's up, Amelia? What's up, my girl Trouble? Nita, what's up, Miss Tony? What's up, Snake? What's up, Rerod? What's up to all of y'all, Monty? All of y'all up in here, Stephanie, all of y'all. Shout out to all of y'all. Make sure y'all go ahead and retweet out this space. Shout out to all my people. I see Nightfall over there on YouTube as well too. Shout out to Unite, shout out to Hope, shout out to all y'all over there on YouTube. Y'all make sure y'all share out this broadcast tonight. We talking about Obama crapping on black men, and we talking about his girl following up, pandering, coming with a bunch of nonsense 3 weeks before election time, not 3 months before election time, not 2 months before election time, not 4 months. Not now she's talking about black men. Now black men matter. Before, to the Democratic Party, black men, they could give a damn about it. Now she's talking about black men. They saw good old Barack came out there, and if it was any doubt, he went ahead and he really sunk the ship for her. Barack went ahead and he put his foot in his mouth. He's sitting up there being bigoted like he always is, talking about what black men need to do, and yo. And now then come back to bite him in the butt. And now it's too late. It was already too late. She was already going to lose. But this is just a final nail in the coffin for her. And if she wins, I will eat crow. I won't happily eat it, but I'll eat crow if she wins. But I don't think she's going to win. And like I said before, when she does lose, and I said this many times in spaces, and everybody knows it's going to be black men who get all of the blame for it. When Hillary Clinton lost in 2016, white women, like half of the white women in this country voted for Trump. White women didn't get blamed for him losing. How come all these feminists, all of these headstrong white women didn't come out and get Hillary over the hump? No, they didn't do that. They went right ahead and they voted for Trump, and they didn't even get Hillary there. Nobody blamed white women when she lost. But when this one loses here, it's gonna be, well, you didn't support a sister. You guys are just, well, you don't have any respect for your mama, your wives, or your girlfriends, your daughters. I can already hear it. I can already hear the nonsense and the garbage that they finna go ahead and put up here. Let me go ahead and get to Ray, and then Rel, I'm gonna get back to you. What's up, Ray? Ray, you there? That's Ray in the Matrix.
What's up? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, Ray?
I don't know what's going on, man. Every time I try to come off that mute button, it wants to do that. But I just want to touch on a few points about, I did make some notes, so please bear with me, right? As far as the marijuana legalization, right? You know, legalizing marijuana and creating opportunities, in the cannabis industry, it does sound appealing. But this policy, it really could backfire on us, because in these states, where cannabis is illegal, these large corporations, they already dominate the industry. So that's going to make it very difficult for, the smaller independent entrepreneurs to even and to thrive. So I just don't see that as, being, something that's going to benefit us in the long run. The loans.
it said that the loans are available to Black entrepreneurs and others, meaning that this policy isn't specifically tailored to Black men, even though that's what they're portraying it to be. So, and there's no guarantee that Black male entrepreneurs are going to receive a meaningful share, of these benefits. Under education and mentorship, that's not really a clear impact. While pathways to good paying jobs and teaching careers, obviously are important, that plan that she put out, it lacks the detail on how it's going to address the deeper systematic barriers like discrimination, hiring practices, lack of access to high quality education that's all faced by not only Black men, but also Black women. Encouraging Black men to become teachers, like that doesn't do anything to address the immediate economic needs that we're dealing with. Cryptocurrency protection. Protecting cryptocurrency, it does sound appealing to like a small portion of Black people, but that is hardly a pressing issue that most Black people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So I don't know why she threw that in there. And the last thing that I think she touched on was that healthcare initiative that's targeting illnesses that disproportionately affect Black men to help raise awareness. That agenda that she put out, it provides no specifics about how it will improve access to affordable health care, prevent the disparities, or ensure the treatment outcomes. Without significant investments in healthcare infrastructure and insurance covering reforms, that initiative is more symbolic than substantive. And I'm going to land there. I just want to hear y'all thoughts on that.
Appreciate that, Ray. And I touched up on the first thing you were talking about when she was talking about the forgivable loans up to $20,000 for Black entrepreneurs and others. That's always a key thing. Whenever it's something financial, it's always others. It's always a way to work other people into it. So I mean that lets you know already. And I mean, I guess they haven't really caught that we already know that, hey, that's nonsense. When you start talking about Black people and you start including other groups into it, that we already know it's nonsense. And then this whole thing with the marijuana crap, I don't like things like this. I don't like when people talk about they doing something for criminal justice and how that impacts Black people and this and that or whatever. I have an issue with that. Are you trying to say that all Black people are in jail and prison, or all Black people are criminals or something? What are you trying to say here? And then the weed, and then the weed thing, like I said before, white people spent all this years, the criminal justice system spent all this years locking people up for selling weed. Now they got all of the license. They're the growers, they're the manufacturers, they're the actual producers of it, they're the retail and everything else. And now you want to sit up here and you in Florida, whatever, you may give a couple Black dudes, you may give a couple Black guys a license or something like that. And then you open up some kind of opportunity here. When it comes to the health thing, you're talking about health disparities and this and that or whatever. Well, Black people ain't the only one that have diabetes. Sickle cell, okay, well. And yeah, I know prostate cancer and stuff like that affects, it may affect Black people at a higher rate. But let's be honest here. Prostate cancer is not a Black thing. It's a male thing. So let's not sit up here and act like, I mean, when I start hearing stuff like that, like people, oh, well, they got the cost of insulin down and, that's a Black thing. Like, Black people ain't the only person in the world or only people in this country that got diabetes. They may have a higher percent going back to the diets and the lifestyle they lived during slavery, which is passed down generation after generation after generation after generation. But let's not sit up here and act like all this stuff, the cryptocurrency and all that other kind of stuff like that. Like I said, the cryptocurrency market is already controlled by whoever's controlled by. Cryptocurrency has been out since 2012, 13 or whatever. So, I mean, some of the stuff they're talking about don't even make any sense. And it's not going to make any impact in Black people's lives as well either. Shout out to you, Raider.
Before you move on, I just want to ask this question too. Is a specific reason, and I'm generally asking because I don't know, why is it a loan for $20,000, not a grant?
I don't know. And we had a space, we had the space where you had the $84 million that they was giving out to the Native Americans and Alaskan Americans. Now, like I say, whenever it's done specifically for Black people, it's always, but they can give it out to other people. So, that I don't know. I know loans are mainly, when you talk about loans, they're mainly for nonprofits and stuff like that. But we got all kind of black nonprofits in this country as well too. We got plenty nonprofits, not-for-profits in this country that are run by black people as well too. So they could, like I said, like, and Park tried to be slick talking about the COVID and this and that. And I'm glad Rella read him and let him know all of the little Asian groups categories they had broken down in that. If you want to say, hey, just like they found a way to get, whenever they want to do something, they can get away with race. We know what race they're talking about or what ethnic group they're talking about. They can put their little coded language in there and make it fit. Well, you can do the same thing for black people too. If you don't want to say black people, you don't want to use race, then like I say, you can make it lineage based as well too. So that would kill one bird with two stones, but they don't want to do that because they know exactly, hey, we don't want to give anything of any importance to these people as much as possible. Let me go ahead and get to, shout out to you, Rado. Appreciate you coming up. Let me go ahead and get to, go ahead, Rella, and then I'm going to go ahead and get to original.
Yeah, thanks, Newstoter. So I'm just going to put, like any other supporting documents, I'll just post them down in a purple field. So, to answer the questions for the money that the U.S. spends or puts into DACA, it's over the billions, and that answers that, and it's over the billions every year. It'll supersede trillions of dollars. The second thing is, people always talk about the deficit of this country, and to Ray's point in yours in regards to all these other different programs, it's not specific because once the bills pass, the states have to implement them, and the states have, each state has crafted their laws based on laws the federal government have passed. However, they also have their own interpretation of the laws, and it's based off of interpretation. Judges base their judgment through the court system when you're talking about going to hearings and things like that, based off of the interpretation of the law, that the states also have their own language, and we haven't even talked about that. The second thing is, yes, the Democratic Party has been pandering to black women, but let's be clear. Just because you see black women opening up businesses, hand over fist, going to school, hand over fist, it does not mean that there is not a debt that black women also pick up and carry. So there's always this facade of, we're going to do these things, but we won't make sure that you are whole with your black family. And so it's the same cookie cutter template that they're trying to do now with black men. And I always put it like this: neither one of the duopolies have ever had a detailed point of upholding legislation on the books for descendants or any lineage-based language. They haven't even utilized lineage-based language. What they do is they only stick to race-based languages so they can ignore us in public. But then I just read the COVID hate crime act, and you see how it was passed by law, and they utilized race in both the House and the Senate bill. But they detailed what nations of that specific race they were talking about. And so these are the things where we talk about getting into the nuances of lineage. That's why it's important. That's why it's important to understand how these people are moving, and to know that the people who are running for office are also immigrants, first generation, or immigrants who have gotten their citizenship or visa. We also need to address that as well. So I landed there, and I'll just listen.
Well, Rella, let me add this one point. You're right. They use black women, and I'm not saying that they don't. They use black women just basically as a mascot to go ahead and hide their content. But they don't even hide their content for black men. They straight up can't stand black men. They consider black men to be a threat, and they're not going to do a damn thing for black men at all. And like I say, she would have came out better not doing anything, but they felt it was such damage control that Barack Obama's big mouth got into that they had to come behind him and do something, and they actually made it worse. They would have been better by just ignoring what Barack Obama said and just moving on. But no, they couldn't do that. So then they came up with this nonsense here where she talking about her agenda, some crap that they just stuck together the last minute because you had no agenda for black men. You've never had any agenda for black men. you never want to see black men do anything, because if you did, you would have put some money behind black men. Instead, everybody's sitting up here talking about the policies that Trump has that have impacted the black lives. Nobody has come up in the past 40 some odd years and had a policy worse than that damn crime bill that old Joe Biden went ahead and championed and signed, that he does his best to move away from, and that the Democratic Party doesn't even want to talk about. So don't sit up here talking about policies and stuff and how because Trump is a racist. Well, they both say racist stuff. I mean, please. Joe Biden was hanging out with a bird at a damn Ku Klux Klan and whatnot. And all of a sudden they done forgot about that. This man's got all kind of vitriol statements and stuff he said over the years about black men in particular. Black men. And now he want to sit up here and act like all of a sudden he's this great defender of justice and whatnot, and that she's going to come in and swoop in and save the day or whatever. Please. Let me give a shout out to my girl, Miss Trigger, as well, too, for her contribution on Cash App. Let me go ahead and get to Original and DJ Professor. I want y'all to definitely chime in and shout out. And we got a bunch of people in the listener section as well, too. Y'all feel free to come on up here. I want to hear what you guys got to say. I want to hear what y'all got to say about Barack Obama as well, too. Last few days, I haven't done any broadcasts, but I saw this stuff with Obama. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, this guy is like herpes. He's just like the gift that keeps on giving her. I mean, this guy, he just like, you think, just when you think he done went off and went into seclusion and with his wife and kids or whatever, all of a sudden this Negro pops back up out of nowhere and starts coming with just the craziest stuff, and his vitriol towards black men, the Pookies, the Ray Rays, and now it's, black men. Now I guess now we hate women as well too now, because we won't vote for her, so we hate women now. So I mean, he just comes up with all kind of crap.
That's what they're saying. Specifically, they're now trying to put it off on to the gender wars that black men hate black women, and that's the issue.
But Rella, I said this months ago in this space. I said this months ago in the space that when it came down to it, that black men, if this woman loses this election, which I believe she is, I already said this time and time again, that it's going to be black men that's going to bear this. It's going to be black men that they're going to blame for her losing, and they've already set it up. So when she gets ready to lose, this and that, and then you'll just have people like Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, all these black entertainers, the actor Wendell Pierce, I see him constantly posting on Twitter as well too. All of them already got it shaped up and whatnot. When they lose, it's going to be the fault of black men. Black men didn't carry the load. Black men let down the community. Black men with this and that. Now I can already hear it. So I'm already letting y'all know, and I've already said it before, when she loses, get ready. Black men, every black man in this space, every black man that you know, and even black men that's going to vote for, they're going to, well, we didn't get enough black men out. Too many of them sat home and didn't vote. And the ones that did, they went ahead and they went ahead and they voted for Trump. Now, I already know what they're going. I already know how this thing is going to play out. Original, what's going on with you tonight?
Hey, peace, black power, and lineage space reparations. These people have lost their minds, and it's amazing how Park the Punk, he want to come in and throw out his garbage, and then he leaves. And this so-called agenda that this thing says it has for black men. Here's the deal. Don't y'all believe this witch? Because if this plan is not on her official platform, that she has her platform on the internet, she is not going to address it. That's how, because see, I'm going to tell you, Big Swole did that same thing here in Georgia. She started trying to talk about, black men, and she saw that, and let's not forget, Big Swole lost twice for her gubernatorial run here in Georgia. There you go. Because she didn't talk to black folks. See, they all are doing this. Today I answered my phone because I was expecting a call. I didn't know how it was coming through, but it said potential spam. So there's a city council election whereby it's for like an at-large position for the entire city. So this lady was asking me if I would vote for this. It was, I forget the lady's name, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to respond and let her. But I told the lady, she said, so can I put you down as undecided? I said, no. I said, you can put me down as if she's not publicly supporting reparations, she will not get my vote. That's where I'm at. And I told her about how the current mayor on his diversity and inclusion only advocated for the gay community. I said, do y'all think we're stupid and we gonna vote for this? I went off on her. I let her know. There is no vote for you without support of reparations. Many expect reparations for Black Americans. And that's what these people been doing. Now see, Kamala, now she said that that a study, which I heard some of that when they asked about a study, because they broadcasted it on CNN. I'm not downloading the iHeart app and all this other crap. But, you know, many books have been written regarding slavery, the impact that slavery had on us, and the vestiges of slavery. You got, what's his name? Randall Robinson, The Debt, What America Owes to Black. You got another book, Andrew Hacker, Two Nations, Black and White, Separate, Hostile, and Unequal. Then you got another book, The Half Has Never Been Told. There's another book, The Color of Law. I mean, these people sit up here and spit in our face and tell us, oh, no, it was some water splashing off the roof or something, and expect us to believe it. So you're going to tell me all these books and movies that have been produced regarding the enslavement of Black America, and you're going to tell us that a study must be done? Your study has been completed decades ago. But yet you're going to run this game. They want to run this game on us as if we are too stupid to understand and see. And when we start calling them out, and like I've been telling these people in this total, I'm not voting for anybody. Now, I hadn't heard that. I'm going to look it up. Where Park claimed that Donald Trump put something out there regarding that Kama Sutra is supporting reparations. And this is why I said I'm not voting for anyone unless they support us. See, let's not forget, Donald Trump took Ice Cube contract with Black America and morphed it into what he called the Platinum Plan that had the word minority in it 3 times. So both of these parties are against Black folk, and neither one will get my vote. I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I don't care how bad this Trump is over here. Neither one of these Trump, well, Trump's a Trump too. Neither one of these Trumps will get my vote. They think we are a little stupid, and they sitting up here granting. And anytime something, like you said, Newstoter, anytime something come up for us, they start hemming and hawing and don't want to answer the question, and then expect us to just go ahead and go along with the program. But that little crying girl, Van Johnson, I was watching that on CNN. He's going to say that, oh, she hit it out of the park. She hasn't hit anything. This is insane. And what these people will do in order to try to convince us that it is in our best interest. I'm talking about Democrats and Republicans. Because I'm telling you, and I'm going to post it, and I'm going to post this, I might do it this weekend. I've already put it out myself for ballot for here in the state of Georgia. And I've already kind of, inked it in, but what I'm going to do, what I've done is I've typed in, I'm voting for a write-in vote, and I've typed in lineage-based reparation. And when I post this, you can be sure that I will tag in both Kama Sutra and Trump, because let them know if you're not supporting my demographic, and if my demographic is not going to benefit from my vote, then no one will. That's how that works. We're not giving up our vote for free anymore, and everybody benefit except for us. And I'm glad Rella read that but they want to say that, well, it's not an Asian hate crime. Yes, it is. It cites specifically who that bill is supposed to protect. And let me say this, because people keep talking about what happened here in Georgia at those so-called massage parlors. Those are whole houses. Those people got in the whole house business. That's the risk you take when you run a whole house. You might get shot and killed. So those are whole houses that I don't know what they did to that guy, but he got mad and went and shot up both places. They both are whole houses, but yet nobody at the whole house went to jail. Neither of them. Nobody at the whole house went to jail. And who knows if they had some people working there illegally. But see, that's how they look the other way when it's other people. But yet they still run them same tropes about black men are pimps and black women are prostitutes. I wouldn't give you a vote for nothing. And so if this reaches you, you need to understand that you do not have, without lineage-based reparation, you don't have my vote. And I think there are more and more people who are saying, blank these folks. And I did put some images up there in the purple chat where Big Ear Barack. And so, yeah, because if you notice, Newstoter, these people have everybody except for us. And so he's sitting over there looking stupid because somebody read a passage out of one of those books he wrote where he was in Europe. And they read this passage out. I can't remember verbatim what it was saying, but I told him, well, it sounds like somebody got screwed. Then he met up with this African. I said, it sounds like somebody got screwed. And it sounded like it was him. He said, they said, every time I reach out to somebody, they say the same thing. So they know exactly what they're into and what they're doing and who they're going to support. But just understand, no, you do not. I don't care how much you try to paint some plaster on this, it is not going to work. I am not voting for you. I'm doing a right-in from top to bottom. And that's what I told this person today when I answered my phone. It was somebody, advocating for some person running for this at-large city council seat. No, don't put me down as undecided. You put me down as that if she ain't supporting this, she gets no vote. And that's what we all should start doing. And let me land before I get too long-winded.
All right. Thank you, Original. I see we got we got Black Majority State up here. And Gregory, I see you up here too with your hands up. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get to you after Black as well too. We got that community online. The Twitter community, guys, is up in the Jumbotron. Y'all make sure y'all join that community. I think we got 234 people in the actual members in the actual community. I'm trying to get people to post newsworthy articles, content, anything related to Black news, whatever, in the actual community. So because I post a lot of stuff in there, I'm trying to get some of our people to post in there. Whatever you got, if it's business related, I don't care what it is, post it up in there. We'll try to get this community to get it bigger and bigger and bigger. What's going on with you tonight, Black? How you doing?
Hey, good evening. Good evening. Nice to hear your voice after those twin hurricanes coming through down there. I'm good. I'm listening to the conversation. I wonder if the Asian, because I know Native American, I've always seen that as a catch-all, like Hispanic. Native Hawaiian, that gets a little dicey. But Asian, technically you would say there's white Asians and there's Black Asians, quote unquote, mixed race Asians. And I wonder if they would be looking at that as more of a nationality than a race. That would be my question on that. But until you challenge them in court, you're probably never going to know. And I think when these things come up, it would be nice to be able to challenge those in court as a race-based thing to see how they, position it. But I came up more about this election coming up, and I'm on the other side with it. And really, based on what even Original just stated, there's 40% of Black Americans that just don't vote. And I think that's the issue where when you have people talking in what may not be an echo chamber, but around people who kind of share the same views, is that you don't really see what the masses are thinking and what the masses are doing and how they're engaging with information, how they're absorbing information, and then what they will actually end up doing. And I think, as I said before, Trump's biggest issue is not Kamala at all. It's not Obama. It's Trump. Trump is his biggest issue. And I look back at the 2016 election, and in those battleground states, Trump lost, or no, I take it back. Trump won because there were credible third-party candidates in those races in those states, and they were getting 200, 300,000 votes in many of those battleground states. And then in 2020, it retracted way down to like the 40, 50,000 range. So that alone was enough to really put Biden into the White House. And the question becomes, is there and this is why RFK took his name off the ballot wherever Trump was vulnerable, is because of that third-party situation. I don't think Jill Stein, God bless her, is a credible third-party option for people. I don't think Cornel West is. I don't know how many states they're on. And I don't think it affects the battleground states, which is where it's the most important at. And so I'm really in the position of thinking if 60% of Black Americans vote, 40% never really voted, and if people do write-ins, third party, whatever, it's not going to change the dynamics much. If people sit at home, I don't think it's going to change the dynamic much, because as 13% of the population, no matter what the result of the election is, we are only 13% of the vote, which means that the other 87% is everybody else and majority white people. So they are the ones who really determine these elections, these outcomes. And I'm more or less sick and tired of it's really a psychological operation to make Black people feel like they have this overweighted importance, when the reality is that the white vote overwhelms our vote almost 10 to 1, at least 8 to 1. And so it's really never really been on us. They've just been selling us that, and then we get caught up in it. And at the end of the day, even in those battleground states, we have our population, and 60% that vote, most of them are going to vote Democrat. So there's really not this thing where we're changing the dynamics that much as they try to push it out to us. And so for me, I'm like, if Kamala wins, it's not going to change anything for me. It's not going to change my life. It's not going to change it's not going to change my bills. It's not going to change my existence. If Trump wins, same thing. There's going to be no change in anything that I have going on. I think it's more likely that Kamala will win, and I think the reason is Trump. I think at the end of the day, 10 million votes from 2016 to 2020, and he needs probably another 5 to 10 million votes. And the thing that I don't hear or see or hear people talking about is where he's getting these votes. That post that Kamala did from her page, that's not a government page, even though it's got the gray seal, it's her Kamala Harris page. When I checked it earlier, it had over 21 million views on Twitter. And that was for her little black agenda, whatever, other black male, other agenda. So even in X, where I know they're throttling her information because they're so in the bag for Trump, she's still piercing through even on Twitter with the views. And I think that what's going to happen is people are going to wake up or stay awake for maybe the results are called that night. But I think people are going to have this sense of doom because either Trump got elected or because Kamala got elected, but I don't understand it. I think we should be planning for after the election, regardless of who wins, and then moving forward with that motion and really getting out of the cycle of being overly distracted by the personalities, because they're just a figurehead. The party has their policy. They have their agenda. They're going to run it the way they run it. Most of it's going to be almost identical, except for a few little off branches that each party likes to do. And everybody else in America, we're going to be stuck moving in that direction. And, I say all news is good news. All publicity is good publicity. Obama's putting his foot in it actually got everybody talking. It actually got her to push this agenda. It's getting her on all these talk shows, platforms leading up to the election. So people are listening to her who may have been kind of on the sideline. And there's potential that there will be there'll be a triple backlash. She'll get the backlash from black men who are like, man, fuck Obama, yada, yada, excuse me, I apologize, forget Obama, yada, yada, yada. And then you'll get the backlash of people who say, you know what, I am going to vote for her. I wasn't going to vote, but you know what, now I think I am going to vote for her because it looks like things are being unfairly weighted against her. And a lot of black people, especially black women, but also black men, start to feel that they got to be protective. And then if people start pushing her in this position where she's being bullied, quote unquote, and it looks like she's being bullied, you may see more people go out and vote for her just because of that. So anything's possible. I think that's where we're at, but I love listening to the space.
All right. Thank you, Black. I appreciate it as always. Let me go ahead and get to Gregory. Gregory, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing?
All righty, man. Barghani, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, Black Power, and thank you for brother host and the co-host and those who've already shared their insight and perspective. I would say this, brothers and sisters. The devil plans, and so does Almighty God. And God is the best of planners. So spiritually, I got to look at it out of that lens. Because if I looked at it politically and you broke down the white supremacy data or the way their propaganda machines work and they spin machines, then you would end up pretty much speaking from that vernacular. But as the brother who was just saying, it's amazing and wickedly amazing how this game is being played with black men. And so there's an emotional piece tied to that. But we don't have no idea what the Caucasian male bodies will really do, even with those who jumping on the bandwagon that say that they're for her because Trump seems to be unhinged to a certain group high up. You know, you mentioned backlash. Well, when I heard the magical Negro, Obama, a little cat that I know, I didn't know him well, nobody knew him. He was planted in our community in Chicago. That hypocrite, that contradicting coward, used the term brother. You ain't never said brother while you were in office, and even afterwards, you damn hypocrite. And to this day, you ain't apologized for repudiating and denouncing your own pastor, Reverend Dr. Jeremiah Wright, even Messy Jesse, who was the standard bearer for the Democratic Party, and the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, who kept a picture of your sorry ass with some of the brothers and sisters in the nation, kept it in the vault for 8 years. But you didn't even have the audacity, the goddamn humility, or...
Hey, try not to curse, brother. Try not to curse. Well, go ahead.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. But you didn't even have the courage and the respect to go back to those men like you put Professor Gates and some Caucasian in the White House for some like summit on race and etc. But your own pastor, and I just it was a beer summit. Yeah, the beer summit, and yeah, but you in 8 years you didn't even let that man come into the White's house to even pray, or Jesse. 8 years, and then you can reconcile your differences. Man, anybody, any brother who really loves black power and freedom, justice, and equality, they can't stand him. And so when he came out, he really hurt her. He hurt her. And then he actually got more white people who don't dig him either, that means some of them like him because he became this Hollywood celebrity that our people emotionally out of their imbalance started thinking that he was really the real deal, even though he put a murderer like Rahm Emanuel, helped to get him in office in Chicago, and a dummy like Arnie Duncan to be the Secretary of Education. Show you how much respect he have for black people. You put a dummy like that over a post that important. But I'll say this, man, there's no way that they have my vote. And I'm more black than probably any of them mixed together. Part of the new black leadership here, ran the Urban League's black male mentoring program, responsibility, still involved as an activist in the community. I don't know if you all know Brother Khalid Muhammad, but I'm the only one that Khalid conducted my wedding in 1984. Brother Khalid, only person he'd ever married in Chicago, probably around the country. So you ain't blacker than me. Part of the new Black Panthers many years ago, not the ones who are off. But I say that, Brother Host, to say that thank you so much. I'm going to be checking out your Twitter and sending information tonight. I'm going to be interviewed briefly on Straight Words on WVON, Brother Richard Muhammad, regarding the Million Man March that I participated in. But I love you. I love what I've heard from the brothers thus far. Man, y'all make me smile listening to y'all voices, and that, and sometimes a tear falls because I'm so happy, regardless whether it's Lucifer that wins or Satan that wins, or the wolf or the fox, or 6 in one hand and a half a dozen in the other. I know one is Matt Dillon, the other one is Bob Dylan. One is a diplomat and the other one is Republican. I know at the end of the day, we're going to be all right, and we're going to be all right because I see it spiritually, and I know that it's time for this wicked kingdom to fall, this wicked world. And so thank you, man. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I could be, if any more you all want to check me out, for many years I've had a podcast 30, 40 years ago on WVON, or 20 years ago. And so I'm just glad, man. I love you again, Brother Host. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me up to speak. God bless you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gregory. Thank you. We appreciate you coming up here speaking. Definitely, anytime you want to swing into space and come on up here and speak, definitely feel free. Just request a microphone and we'll bring you up here.
Hey, Brother Gregory, man, you sound like Minister Farrakhan.
He sound like Khalid a little bit. That's who he sound like. He sound like Khalid Abdul Muhammad a little bit. That's what he kind of reminded me of a little bit when he was speaking. So shout out to that brother, and shout out to you and all the work that you're doing in the community as well, too, brother. We appreciate you coming up here tonight, speaking as well, too. So we got a couple of my favorite ladies up in here. So we got Miss No Taxation, and we got Miss Trouble up in here. So this ought to be good. I love to hear these two ladies speak as well, too. No Tax, what's going on with you?
Hey, how you doing? I was just getting ready to say, you got to let me go before Trouble, because, I can't come behind Trouble. I done told y'all 57 times. I'm not finna come behind Trouble and what I'm going to say. Because she finna clear the room, the air, and everything. Y'all know how she roll, and that's why we love her. Hey, News, I'm still, with this hurricane situation at my mother's house. Y'all, my 93-year-old mama finally decided to use her walker last night.
Wait. Your mom was stuck in the hurricane too?
No, we ain't stuck in no hurricane. No. We went, my sister works for the Red Cross. Y'all know that. Because, I tell y'all, come to me if anything happened. But she went out there to get the newspaper. And I said to myself, you need to go sit down. Okay. So I'm still at it. You know, it's a life journey. It is what it is. This is what happens when you get to be a certain age and your parents get to be a certain age. You do the duty. And so I'm on duty. And that's what that is. And I'm so glad that we have a new person to come to the village, Mr. Gregory. I really am, because I'm glad you see what Newstoter is doing. This is one of the more intelligent that X has. This is the people who, and I'm not going to say like-minded, because not always, but this is the space where people who are intellectually savvy and well researched and educated on different things that I myself, as an almost 70-year-old woman, come over here to learn. And so I'm glad to see that you're in the village, and we sure welcome you. But I need y'all to dig a little bit deeper, because y'all know Mr. Gregory, they'll tell you I don't do nothing but us, black people, us, and economics. That's all I'm concerned about. Get your butt in there, Plato. Don't come out. Sorry. I need y'all to dig deeper. Let's talk about Romney, Manuel, and Obama for just a second. Obama don't have that kind of pull to send Ron nowhere. Ron Emanuel is a mob guy. So he goes where the Democrats send him, the mobbed up Democrats. And so Obama didn't send him to Chicago. They got Obama out of there. They wanted to do something in Chicago that had never been done before, and they did it. And it's a fight over there in Chicago. Y'all see what it is now. And no, he was never accepted. He was tapped just like Kamala was tapped, just like they finna tap Newsom. We see what it is over there. And for her to say that she would give a million. How many black men we got in America? Rella and them could tell you, Trouble probably could tell you. She gonna give $1 million of those black men, $20K to start some kind of internet. You can go get you a website. I don't know what she talking about, but it's crazy. And every time she says anything about a number, like that $750, she said she was gonna get to the hurricane people. It comes out wrong, which tells you that she makes gaffes all the time. GAFFE apostrophe S. Look it up. That's who she is. She been everything. She's trying to be all, and you can't be all to people because then you're nothing. And so that's who's running for office on that side. Y'all see what it is. Y'all know what it is. We knew it a long time ago. We've been talking about it. They didn't think it was real, but look at the black man. What have I been telling y'all? The fight in this country is against who? Who? Let's hear it again. The white man versus the black man. And if they have to send women out to do it, that's what they'll do. And that's our first line of defense, ladies. We know that. And those are our protectors and the people who help us have our children and our future. Those are our builders. That's why they want them gone, and that's why they're doing it. They cannot. I will say this. And News, you're right. You've been saying it a long time. They cannot this time blame it on the black man, because the black man has already told them. And case in point, in fact, they've been telling them for years. So let's see what the numbers look like after this election. I want to see the numbers, because I've been working on Dem exit for about 11 years, 12 years now, on this very same social media application. Actify Press, we go a long way back. A lot of people that was with us, Carla, they ain't even around no more, okay? We've been telling folks, get off that plantation. It means you no good. You can't cut deals with people who mean you no good. Go over there to the other people when all they talking about is money, and cut deals about money, because that's about all you're going to get out of these folks, okay? Reparations is still on the table. It's never off the table. And so that's what it is. And I'm going to hush and let Trouble come in here and clear the room and clear the air. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. No taxation. Let me go ahead and get my girl Trouble on here. Trouble, what's going on with you tonight?
Hey, Newstoter, DJ.
Oh, why you say that, Professor?
Professor Freaky Deaky, everybody in the room, Sister Taxation, Black, and Rella, everybody in the cut tonight.
What's up, that Sister Trouble?
Hey, I ain't come to clear the room tonight. I just came on right quick. And Sister No Taxation, you a hard act to follow yourself, Sister, because you always come in with the wisdom, the knowledge, the scholarship, the education, that deep-rooted something that we can't get from nobody else that has done our space. You are definitely a special one. It's a privilege to even be in the same space with you, sister.
I love you for that. Thank you so much, Trouble.
I love you more. Brother Gregory. What's up, DJ? Brother Gregory, I appreciate the words that you put down, sir. Wholeheartedly agree with you. I love to hear your voice. Black majority states, you already know, brother. 100% up on you, and totally agree with you. And I've said it several times myself before. I feel like we're going to be everybody going to be a little bit disappointed after this election. But I also feel like this man's kingdom is coming to an end, and he knows it. He's grasping at straws. And so that's why it's going to be disappointing, is because he's grasping at straws. And that's just pretty much that on that. I think, just like Black says, our focus needs to be what's going to happen after this election. This election is pretty much selection is pretty much a done deal. So are we focusing on 2026? Those people who are up to run for our congressional seats within our respective states, have we put our focus there? What about the next election for presidency after these 4 years is done? Let's start doing the work for that. And specifically for our in-state initiatives and things that need to get done, finding people to run on those levels and continue to push for this Black majority state rule to get our people that migration that we so needed. I don't understand. Every year or every election cycle, we see this. And Newstoter, you did call it, brother. I remember you called it. But it's the same thing every election cycle. It's blame Black men for whatever else fails. If I wasn't so disconnected from what's going on right now, I would say that there should have been a ground game toward the narrative before they even had an opportunity to land it, because we already knew the blame the Black man narrative was coming. Because that's what they do. That's the narrative they need. They need for our brothers to look like the face of degeneracy at all costs. When it came to the Me Too movement, it was a bunch of white women going in about the white men that was doing A, B, and C, but somehow they turned to make the Black man the face of that movement. Anytime the white men get caught up in the twist, somehow they find a way to make a Black man the face of it. And it's been dropping like that in our faces every single time. At some point in time, my people, we're going to need to get ahead of these things, these tactics, and start putting our own little tactics in place. So, and as I said, if I wasn't so disinvested, I would say that, the whole rhetoric with the misogyny of the Black man, nobody supports the Democratic Party in a bigger block than Black men when you're looking at the other demographics of men. So that narrative we should have been pushing before now. And it needs to continue to get pushed. They need to be called out on the fact that white men overwhelmingly, if you're looking online, have spoken to the fact that they don't want a woman in the White House. This isn't a Black male thing. This is a white male thing. But again, everything that goes on within white society gets twisted and put on as if Black men is the face of that. I don't know how we continue to allow that to happen. We see these narratives, y'all. I don't understand why we ain't on top of this stuff when we already know what's coming. Same playbook, and this playbook ain't changed. The playbook has never changed. Ain't nothing new up under the sun when it comes to these ooh, Lord, these pink folks. And ain't nothing ever going to change because they don't have an original thought in their mind to change anything. They're able to regurgitate the same tactics over and over because either we are not paying attention or we just, we too relaxed and slumbering a little bit too long, or maybe we just don't believe that they're going to try it again. Because, damn, they tried it again, and it worked again. So it's almost like we don't believe the playbook that we done seen happen a million times. So I'm going to land on that because y'all know I'm going to get into a whole rant. But I just say, let's go ahead. This election is a wash. We need to focus on the future. We need to focus on doing better. And we need to really focus on thwarting out what is our game plan. What are we willing to do? How are we going to attack these things in real time? Because we need to bring the focus back to these other people. You are not dumping on the misogyny within these other cultures, like Hispanics, like white folks, like the Asian man. Every time I turn on a video online, it ain't, now I'm black, so I know a lot of black men who don't whoop their women's eggs. But when you look online, you get to see all of these other cultures who was known to tear off into their women's eggs. You know what I'm saying? So how come that never gets highlighted? Asian men, they beat their women down, kick them in the head, kick them in the stomach, kick them all across the floor. They kick them all over that bone. Hispanics men known to beat their women down, known to slap them down in the middle of it, in front of everybody. They don't give a. White man is the number one predator when it comes to unaliving his whole family. Who is more misogynistic than these folks, these pale people? But they would purport to put that on our black men. Our black men. Come on now. And we sitting back in real time letting it happen now. I ain't gonna say we, because I know it's a lot of our sisters in these spaces that go out and be swinging on them. I mean, be swinging with the A, swinging on them. But we got to learn how to collectively thwart these narratives as they arrive, because we don't have the media power as far as national syndicated news, but we have social media. So we need to learn how to use the apparatuses in which we have, our technology that we have at our hands to thwart these narratives in advance. And that's all I'm saying. I land. Newstoter, DJ, Professor, I love y'all. Black Space, I love y'all. Shout out to you. Take care.
Shout out to you as well, Trouble. We definitely love you.
We love you too, sister.
Yeah.
Hey, look, they put the entire black family on this stage. Look at us. We all up here together tonight. Can you see that? See that? All of us up here.
I told y'all she was gonna clear it. I told y'all. That's what she does. And then listen, you heard her voice. She didn't go like we know she could have. But she's absolutely correct. We know these people are not for us. They're not for us. The only thing we should be talking to them about is money, because that's what they have that we don't have. That's it. And what we need to safeguard our culture in some way, shape, or form. And you all are the ones that are going to create the new society in this paradigm shift that they think that belongs to them. No, we shifted too. How about that? Let's all shift, since there's a shift.
Real talk. Let me give a shout out to my girl, Miss Valerie. Let me give a shout out to Valerie for her contribution on Cash App. Thank you, Miss Valerie, as always. Professor and DJ. Matter of fact, y'all had your hands up. Y'all gonna speak, or who's gonna speak? We ain't gonna keep it open too long. Probably do a short space tonight. And we'll probably be closing this out soon. That's what anybody wants to speak. I'm gonna try to get you up here real quick. We're gonna close it out. We'll be back either tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday or Thursday. We'll be back. So we'll have something prepared. I'm not entirely sure what, but we'll be coming with another space this week. But DJ, Professor, y'all want to say something?
Yeah, just based off what Ray said, everybody cooking out, ain't no need to repeat anything or whatever the case be. But based off what Brother Ray said about the 20,000 for a house, well, you
can get that right now through HUD. So if you got 3-year work history, you can go get a house through HUD with $25,000 down straight up. And if you're a veteran, you can definitely get that money. That's why I'm trying to encourage the best to go get a house, bro. What you ready for? You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the veterans. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you don't need to vote for Kamala for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing off the table. What was it? 1 million? What is she looking for? 1 million black business owners, or she donating like $1 million?
She told him a million small business loans. Yeah, so I don't know if she talking about the black people or what. Yeah.
We don't need you for that either. That's what the SBA is for. You know, if you're trying to guarantee some type of guarantee like that, then you know all that's going to happen is you're going to trigger the white supremacists and start suing the SBA. So a lot of folks that got their tax ID, a lot of us never really actually try to step to the SBA to really get a loan in that sense, depending on what type of nature your business is. You know what I'm saying? So, and look, this phone close. Depending on the nature of your business or whatever the case be, most of us ain't never stepped to the SBA and that type of like, or maybe try to get a business loan through the bank. You probably got shut down, but you got to try again. It's a new day. So, with that being said, hey, go get your tax ID. It's your Social Security ain't worth anything. It's not working. You know what I'm saying? The way these people playing around with it. You know what I mean? You can make more money doing damage and save more money with a tax ID at this point. Because I've pretty much been working for myself for the last 15 years. Only thing that screwed me over was COVID. Took me right out of business. But, you know, I'm still here holding on to whatever I got left of the business I done built up over 30 years of my life. You know what I'm saying? Just to have it wiped out through technology. But that old technology that I've been pushing is coming back around little by little. So go get your tax ID, fam. You know, you can either get an EIN or a TIN. An EIN is an employee identification number. I have one of those. I can hire everybody in here. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking for some work and you know how to sell, come holler at your boy. Or you can go get a TIN and just use that, which is a tax identification number, and just use that to separate yourself, you know, WPI from Kite Productions, you know what I mean? Or Newstoter from whatever your government is, you know what I'm saying? Or Black State from whatever privacy lounge is, you know what I'm saying? You're just separating yourself so that way you don't get caught up in anything the business will get caught up and they don't mess with your personal funds. So with that being said, you don't need Kamala to get any type of grants, loans. There's all types of SBA, EDCs out here, all types of economic development corporations in your neighborhood. You just got to look this stuff up, man. It ain't rocket science at this point. And there's all types of free business courses out here, YouTube, whatever it is you can find in your neighborhood. So the other thing was, again, back to the houses for families. That's a no-brainer right there. Just go through HUD. If you got some type of Section 8, again, 3 years of work history, you can get a house. You could get 25,000 straight from HUD, yo. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't need them for that. So, but just to reiterate that, Byron Allen was right. He told Obama back to obesity, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Obama, if you actually want my help, here's what you should do. And you don't need me. All you have to do is investigate the banks. See if they're lending to black people. Auto loan, home loan, business loan, car loan, whatever the loan is, just see if they're lending to black people. Obama didn't do that. He bailed out, Wall Street, but left Main Street in the dirt. Who Main Street? That's us here in this room. He didn't give us nothing. We still ain't getting nothing. But at the end of the day, a lot of us don't have a tax ID to try to get something because it ain't going to, that trickle down economics, that stuff don't work anymore. This is why you got to obtain your tax ID and start utilizing that for what it is. You know what I mean? Because your social, that's dead in the dirt. You might as well go put that in the garden with the rest of the flowers. Real talk. So Kamala, don't vote for her. She ain't going to do nothing. And at the end of the day, I'm cool with being blamed. I can get blamed for everything else. Only to have it realized, well, damn, he ain't did it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even his fault, but they ain't gonna never own up to it, so leave it for what it is, man. But go ahead, I'll let someone else talk. Go ahead, Tax, you got it.
Let me get real quick. Let me give a shout out to my man 400 for his contribution on Cash App. I see Miss Cleo and Aon, y'all up here too. So if you guys want to speak, we'll definitely we'll get you up here. But go ahead, no taxation, and I'll see if they want to speak as well.
Yeah, I actually came up here. I asked Aon to stay in the room and grab a mic. I reached out when you put your space up earlier today. I reached out to, my boy Rashid. Y'all know I love you, Negro. I don't know if it's New Negro, but you know who he is. He's on the, but you know, this is one of his comrades. And I wanted her, Aeon, I want you to be very specific about how Obama really shitted on the black man. Let's talk about.
Try not to curse. Try not to curse.
I'm sorry. When Obama and Ming, Senator Ming, in the middle of the night behind closed doors, took Negro off the paperwork, and there went billions and billions of our dollars out to everybody but us. I wanted Aeon to grab a mic because I know she can say it better than me. So I'm going to step down.
Hey, peace and blessings to the room. I was just getting off of work not too long ago, but yeah.
That's right. You better make my money, sister. How you doing? You know?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, you know, when we got on our little research journey 2 years ago, it was something that, you know, nobody really knew about, myself included. We didn't understand the importance of it. You know, when we first were building, I just had Mrs. Deidre's 2006 court case in regards to her going after the corporations that, you know, insured the slaves. And I remember watching in the space that Irie and I had originally. We were in the space listening to the court case, and I remember commenting to him, you know, basically if she would have known about the term Negro, because in that court case, they were using the phrase African American, and the judge, you know, basically in a roundabout way, because they're not going to tell you, was basically saying that, you know, you can't sue for slavery and this, that, and the other, because, you know, that was a different time period. It was some type of word salad that he was using. And I made the comment to Irie at the time of, you know, if you, you know, Negro is not only just a timestamp, but it is a self-delineating designator to the legacy of that harm, you know, of chattel slavery. It was known as Negro slavery, literally in the history books. And so fast forward to Obama, throughout the 8 years, basically, you saw him championing every other cause, every other piece of legislation for any group, especially, you know, especially for the LGBT. And even what we're going through right now with the black male bashing, that was pretty much going on too during the Obama years, if people really, really remember, especially with the attacks against the black family structure, our culture, calling us, you know, a culture of homophobic tendencies, especially amongst black males. And, you know, I didn't have an exchange with an individual. I just commented up under her comment. I guess she might be part of the LGBT community. It's a post that I shared earlier today, and I was just like, you know, never forget, because, you know, our people have short-term memory of a lot of stuff, as well as a lot of these individuals who have been bad actors and have participated in a lot of the stuff. You know, time does wonders when trying to re-image a person's persona. And so a lot of time has passed. So a lot of people, you know, may not remember some of these individuals, but the LGBT community, the black LGBT community in particular, were instrumental in, you know, dismantling and attacking, you know, the black male image and the black community at large. Hence the reason why you can watch old Anderson Cooper clips where he's talking about, you know, calling black people bigots. you know, because I'm a strong proponent of Dr. Wells and Mr. Fuller, and I've always had a stance, and this is what I have a problem with the Pan-Africans, of labeling other black people as being, quote, white supremacists, because there's only one system of white supremacy, and that is white supremacy. Black people aren't in the position. We may have a prejudice, like Dr. Joy DeGruy has said, we may have a prejudice, but we can't practice and implement white supremacy. And so in 2016, after Obama was being, you know, basically dogged by various, you know, groups of people, as well as white people, mainly Tavis Smiley and Dr. Cornel West at the time, before he flipped. You know, I truly feel that he had some internal angst with black people, and I believe that was something that, especially because the cause of reparations was very strong at that period of time, and him being a constitutional lawyer, he knew and understood that you know, that link to our repair was very key and vital, and like Elder No Taxation was saying, is linked to a lot of, you know, resources, a lot of money, and infrastructure that our people can specifically benefit from. Plus, just the legacy of all the data information. I've been sharing a lot with Black Majority, because I'm on this AI thing, and what Trouble was saying earlier piqued my interest again, because we have to be the stewards and the vanguards of our history now more than ever, because there is a narrative, a consistent narrative that continues to be painted, and we're in a situation now where we're seeing the rise of AI. And I had posted a link on my page earlier. I'll share it in the Purple Pill. But it talks about the biases of AI. There was a UN hearing just a few weeks ago where they were testifying. I don't know whether it was a Black American woman or a woman from Africa. I believe probably from the diaspora. But she was testifying in the UN conference about AI being pervasively discriminatory towards people of African descent. And part of the reason of that is because of the information that is being fed into their systems. And when you look at it from a historical standpoint, like the books that we've come across, like Jim Crow's Defense, Anti-Negro Thought, and just all of this information just up under the term Negro, aka Black, that can present a very serious problem, especially with the way they're getting ready to implement this AI globally. And so we have to be on not just the defensive, but on the offensive of being able to counter some of this, not just erasure, but misrepresentation around who we are. And that term Negro is key to that. I've never grew up with any type of angst or animosity with it, and so I never understood why others did at first when we first was, you know, researching and stuff like that. But I'm just happy to see that more people are, you know, accepting of it and understanding. But if we want to have respect from people, we first have to respect ourselves, including in our birthright and who we are. And in closing, I will say that in order for our people to move forward, we have to start looking back, because we've been lied to, and there's just so much information from our ancestors that they've left us. They've left us the keys to the kingdom, literally, in fighting this beast. Me and Talent just came across something the other night. It was spent 3 hours reading the whole thing, or I read it out loud. But it was just amazing that, like I told them, we're going to have to do a room to break down what really was Booker T. Washington's plan, because none of this I never learned in school. I'm sorry. And we've been lied to. He's been made to look like he was Uncle Tom or something. But
real quick, Ayan, I'm going to have you land it because we're going to be closing this thing.
But we just need to, get on the offensive as well as the defensive, and, making sure that we guard and keep our heritage and history intact in our land.
Thank you, Miss Ayan. It's been good to hear from you. I know it's been a little minute since we heard from you, but as always, good to hear from you. Always great information that you share. Let me give a shout out real quick to my co-host Professor for his contribution on PayPal. Professor done switched up everybody doing the Cash App. He doing the PayPal. Let me see real quick. I'm gonna get to you, Trouble. Miss Cleopatra, did you want to say something? I saw you came up, and we're not gonna go too much longer, so I'm trying to go ahead real quick and get you guys up here for a couple minutes and then get into Trouble and we can close it out. But did you want to say something, Miss Cleopatra? Or are you good? Oh, Miss Cleopatra, you there?
I just want to say, don't forget, the Negro conversation started right here in this Newstoter space. Me, Ari, Newstoter, right. There you go.
All right, well, Miss Cleopatra, she may be away. So let me go ahead and get into Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, so just real quick, I just wanted to bounce off of something that DJ had said earlier when he was talking to Professor about going ahead and getting him a house via the VA.
Oh, the white woman, Professor. Oh, my bad, Trouble. Go ahead.
Leave Professor Freaky Deaky alone with his white women. I had a conversation earlier when I reactivated a couple of my Facebook accounts with a few people online about their VA status. So a lot of people, veterans, don't know when you are 100% connected, your spouse can apply for the certain benefits. Your spouse can use a 10-point rating in order to get employed through the VA, which means they get priority hiring status, not only through the VA, but federal as well. And your spouse can also go to school as well as get certain types of benefits. And so when you are a veteran, and more specifically when you are 100% service connected, there are certain benefits for you and your spouse, and especially when it comes to getting a house built and loans for that. So make sure you are checking into that. A lot of people know about it, but I just realized earlier today that there's a lot of people who do not know about it, especially as per the benefits that your spouse can get. Don't leave that money sitting on the table, okay? Make sure y'all get all of that money that's sitting right there. There's a lot of money, and the VA may not specifically pay for your spouse's college education, but they can get, and right now they just went up on the benefits, so they're at least giving out about $1,400 a month for 36 months that can your spouse, he or she, can be collecting into their pockets. So if your spouse doesn't want to go to school, but you still want to get that funding in, go ahead, sign them up for school. When you do the classes online, go online. That counts as well, just to get that $1,400 rolling in every month for the next 36 months. Don't leave no money on the table when it's sitting right there for you to get. And that's all I want to say.
Real talk. And let me add this right here as well too. For if anybody that's in the VA, and you guys, you definitely, with the home loans and stuff like that, if you're thinking about purchasing and getting actually a real estate property, I would go ahead and say definitely look into trying to get you a duplex or something like that, or any kind of multifamily property. Get you a duplex if you got the money to do a triplex, a quadplex. The reason I say a duplex, because as long as you're living there, as long as you're occupying one of those units, you can go ahead and get that loan, and then you can go ahead and rent out the other side as well too. So you can go ahead, either make some money off of it, or B, you can actually probably live there for free as well too. So look into that. Before everybody says the single family homes and everything like that, but single family homes, is still considered a liability. But when you get that, if you get you a duplex or something like that, that becomes an asset for you as well too. So while you're paying it off, like I said, you can go ahead and rent it out and everything. And if you say, well, you know what, I don't want to deal with the headache of renting it out, go ahead and hire your property manager. Property manager will go ahead and take care of the repairs and everything else, and screening the tenants and all that kind of stuff as well too. And you can still get the money, and you only have to pay them maybe 10% of what the actual rent is for the actual unit as well too. So just think about that. Great investment. They don't teach us that. They always tell us to go get a house or whatever, single family, but these multi-family units are definitely big time. Let me go ahead. I see Miss Cleo. I'm gonna let Miss Cleopatra come up here and speak, and then we're gonna let Ray, and then I'm gonna close this thing out for the night. Miss Cleopatra, go ahead.
News. Check your DM, please.
Okay, Miss Cleopatra, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, thank you for having a professional room. I just want to say to the men, I see this as an opportunity to negotiate with Kamala Harris. I don't know if you guys know who Idi Amin is, but he was the African ruler who kicked out every single Indian in his country. Obviously, later he brought them back, but we collectively don't have the power of Idi Amin, so it is what it is. I would negotiate from federal jobs and just remind the public and remind her that no one's giving you anything. I don't know if you guys know about the lynching postcards. That was absolutely just horrible how they would lynch, and through the U.S. mail, they would send postcards of the people that they lynch. You have even though it's a Democrat, it's still collective of the craziness, the lily white movement to kick us out of the Republican Party. There's just so many things throughout history that people may need to be aware of, and that collectively the United States need to atone for. And I do stress the word atone. I do respect that the ADOS Foundation has their stuff going on, and that's great. But even, big request. I did post about Kamala welcoming immigrants to Congress. What about, the same can go for both men and women. Just so many things that can be requested from her. Whether it's Republican or Democrat, you have to move with some caution, because if I'm remembering correctly, Ice Cube wanted to meet with her. She didn't, whatever. So, it's all of that's going on. But I do always would like to be around people who would want to approach this from an optimistic standpoint. So, if someone want to come up and say, well, nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to go, nothing ever works, then I'm probably not for you. But for people who would want to approach things from an optimistic standpoint. And then I've always been taught, always kind of be ready for whatever it is you wanted to receive. So sometimes you have to make it very clear, hey, do this, do that, this, and you may not get everything that you want, but if you got 70%, 80%, someone mentioned a guaranteed job program. Well, it was President Woodrow Wilson who denied us the opportunity to work in the federal government. Got out of college, what was the first job I applied for? Was to work for the federal government. Did I get the job? No. So a guaranteed federal job program, I know that's been talked about. These are some of the requests that I would say, make. And you just never know. It's just like when they wanted her to run for president, they had all these other people come on and sign or whatever. So anyway, that's my approach. Proceed the way you like to. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you, Miss Cleopatra. Real quick, Ray, I'm going to give you.
Thank you, Democratic Shield. No, thank you.
Real quick, Miss Cleopatra ain't a Democratic Shield, I don't think, Professor. But let me go ahead and get the rate.
You know what, David? I think people like to say I'm a Democratic Shield. People says I'm old. I made a comment that instead of throwing away the NAACP and the Urban League, we should keep all that we have here. We should keep everything that we have. However, for me, I want people under 40 to be in it, to be the president of the NAACP and the Urban League, and who are ADOS and ADOS focused. You just don't throw away your power. Even with the HBCUs, all of the leadership in the HBCUs should be ADOS. It is amazing, but I'm not surprised all of the things that have been put for us to be successful, and now we have everybody and their mother. Best believe this Democratic Shield, I could never go to Nigeria and dictate nothing to them about nothing, or to the West Indies. It's just not going to happen. I'm never going to be able to go to Jamaica. I'm never going to be able to go to India and dictate nothing to them.
Thank you.
But I believe in playing with the hand that you've been given. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get to shout out to Cognitive for his contribution on Cash App. Let me get to Ray and Rella. I'm trying to end this thing before 10 o'clock. So, Ray, I'm going to give you a minute. Rella, I'll give you a minute.
I don't even need a minute, brother. 20 seconds. So the fact that Kamala and her team sent out a specific plan for black men, that just goes to show that we were right all along. Sister No Taxation, please check your DMs. I finally DM'd you back. And DJ, are we having a part 2? That's all I needed. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Right.
All right. So I guess that's a yeah, I guess. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Rella, I'm gonna give you a minute. And
I got the chicken in my hand, my right.
Okay. So I'll definitely say that, Ms. Cleo, I understand you're being in a position of optimism, but there is also a position of being in a position of proven reality. And the proven reality is, yes, in HBCUs, we were not outwitted, but replaced. The concept that, even in HBCUs that were founded by Negroes, with the help of other groups of people for the economic piece, is that somehow we're always being replaced as professors, deans, and the like, with immigrants who masquerade as Black Americans, and that is not what's happening. That's not what's happening. And even if someone says, "Oh, I'm ADOS," well, what type of ADOS are you? What type of foundational Black are you? And what is your position in making sure you're protecting the legacies and the pushing protections for Black American descendants from a lineage standpoint? That is not the discussion that's happening at HBCUs. The second thing is, it's the same even in government. In the positions of people who have moved in those positions are immigrants. They are first generation, second generation, or possibly new immigrants who've gotten their citizenship. Donald Trump, his wife, himself, immigrants. Kamala, first generation immigrant. So when you look at having these discussions, I think they're very warranted. Strategy should happen. But at the same time, people need to be honest. So you can be optimistic, but you need to be also honest about the pure fact that people will ignore Black American descendants by way of falling into the racial categories and using that as a weapon against us. DJ, if you have a part 2, I can go deeper into my discussion. Thank you, Newstoter, for the space. As always, we love you, brother. Be safe. And Professor and DJ, thank you so much for co-hosting, and shout out to the room. Much love to all of you.
all right. Thank you, Miss Rella.
We love you, baby.
They got the late night.
The second space tonight is going to be called Optimistic Shield. Second space tonight is Optimistic Shield.
Okay, so they got okay, let me close this out, guys. But we got a second space coming on tonight. DJ space is DJ, what time is your space? Is about to start in a second? Or 11 or what? All right. So on that note, we're gonna close this out. DJ gonna start this space out. Shout out to all you guys coming in here supporting. Thank you for everybody who spoke, listened, who shared the room, who contributed anything on Cash App, PayPal. Guys, we'll be back. We appreciate you guys so much. Check out DJ and Professor in the late night space. Y'all make sure y'all head over there now, and we'll see you guys either Wednesday or Thursday. So peace.